Since Kristy can't get enough of sports, she's coaching a basketball team for girls ages 8 and 9. The team includes Becca Ramsey, Charlotte Johansson, Vanessa Pike, and Haley Braddock. What do all those girls have in common? They all dislike sports so much, they refuse to be on Kristy's baseball team. But they're okay with being on her basketball team? That's kind of weird. Argo Funk Book Review, Argo Funk Book Review. This book was written by Suzanne Wine. Claudia and her boyfriend Josh are sewing uniforms for the basketball team. Claudia loves Josh. They have so much in common. But then her friends say he's nice and cute and uh-oh, that's not a good way to talk about a boyfriend. It's not? It sounds fine to me. Claudia babysits for the Braddocks. Haley's been acting up recently, so her parents say she can't watch TV until she finishes her homework. As soon as her parents leave, the first thing Haley does is turn on the TV. Haley? Claudia makes her go upstairs, where Haley chats on the phone instead of working. When Claudia corrects her, Haley finally does her homework. But it's a trick. Haley shows Claudia homework from last week and pretends she did it just now. When the Braddock parents return home, they recognize the old homework and realize what happened. Haley blames Claudia for getting her in trouble. Hey, it's not Claudia's fault you forgot to hide the evidence, Haley. At basketball practice, Vanessa spreads the gossip that Claudia's a meanie who purposely got Haley in trouble. There's a funny conversation where the kids agree babysitters are untrustworthy. They're only loyal to the parents who pay them money. You can't trust anyone over the age of 9. Claudia unexpectedly gets a day off. She decides to stay home and read Nancy Drew number 106, The Case of the Artful Crime. Claudia reads for about 5 hours, which is about 1 page every 2 minutes. I can't tell if Claudia actually read the book or if she just looked at the cover. She knows there's secret information that's hidden in a set of 4 pictures, but she thinks it's a hidden map when it's actually a circuitry schematic. Close enough, I guess. Josh calls. Claudia feels guilty for reading instead of hanging out with him, so she tells a few lies to spare his feelings. I thought this was going to be a typical mirrored storyline, where Claudia and Haley both learn that lying is wrong. It's not. Haley learns a lesson about lying, but Claudia doesn't. She gets away with lying to her boyfriend. Things actually work out for the best because she lied to him. So the moral of the book is that you shouldn't lie ever. Unless you're lying to your boyfriend, in which case, lying is great! Josh and Claudia go on a date, and they have a good time together. She laughs a lot. Again, that sounds fine to me. But Claudia thinks her happiness is a problem.
It was a good feeling, but I noticed something about it. The feeling was almost too relaxed and natural. We were so comfortable together. I wasn't sure it was the feeling I wanted when I was out with the boy I was supposed to feel romantic toward.
I don't like this storyline, which insists it's a bad thing if you like your boyfriend, if you have fun with him and feel relaxed around him. No, those are all good things, but Claudia insists that being friends with someone is grounds for ending a relationship. Marianne and Logan are great friends. Does Claudia think they should break up? Claudia's parents don't get romantic constantly. Does she think they're not in love with each other? The idea that it's not a real relationship unless 2 people want to kiss each other all the time is the reason why this series broke up Kristy and Bart, who were my favorite couple, and now I am angry. Bad romance, Claudia. Bad! Claudia babysits the Braddocks again. Instead of doing her homework, Haley goes on the phone and complains about Claudia to all her friends. That's twice she's talked on the phone all night instead of doing homework. Maybe her parents should ban the phone instead of the TV. When the parents return, Haley lies and says Claudia tried to stop her from doing homework. Claudia tells the truth and Haley spreads the rumor that the Babysitters Club members are a bunch of spies. If you do something wrong, they tell your parents. Well, yeah, that's what good babysitters do. They address problems. Except in books like this one, where they let a problem fester for 10 chapters before they address it. At the next job, Haley lies about where the pencils are just to make things hard on Claudia. When she's caught in the lie, Haley accuses Claudia of overreacting and insults her. Get a life, Claudia. Was Haley this rude the time she and Claudia were stranded on an island together? Haley's brother Matt is deaf, and Claudia doesn't know sign language. Haley takes advantage of the fact that Claudia can't communicate with Matt. She purposely lies about what her brother is saying to cause problems. It was really awful of Haley to take advantage of her disabled brother like that. When Haley's caught, she lies about what she said. When the parents come home, she lies again, saying that Claudia is trying to hide the fact she invited her friends over. No, Haley, that was what happened in Claudia's big party. Stacy agrees that Claudia and Josh should break up because their romance is too much like a friendship. Claudia's not looking forward to the breakup talk. The good news is she doesn't have to do anything. On their next date, Josh says the relationship isn't working and he wants to go back to being friends. Isn't it great when a boyfriend dumps himself so you don't have to do it? Marianne thinks they should try role-playing with Haley. They force Haley and Claudia to reenact Chapter 3. It doesn't take long before Haley cries and explains she's been avoiding her schoolwork because she's having trouble with it. Shocker. Claudia and Haley talk about school. She tells Haley the story of how she was sent back to 7th grade for a while. This helps Haley feel better. She apologizes for lying so much. We get a chapter where Haley helps the team win their big basketball game, and a chapter where Claudia and Josh have fun in the friend zone together, before they never see each other ever again. The end. Post-book follow-up. Among others, books 124 and 62 were about misbehaving girls who were new characters that we never met before. I think that story worked much better in this book because Haley's not a new character. She's a character that fans of the series already know and love. The fact that I actually care about this character before she becomes a villain gives this book a totally different flavor. If I didn't know who Haley was going into the book, then I would really dislike her, and I wouldn't want to see her get a happy ending. But since I do care about Haley, I'm more invested in her story. On a similar note, Josh feels like a brand new character, doesn't he? If they changed his name, I would not recognize him as the guy from book 101. That's how different he is. And so, it doesn't feel like Claudia is breaking up with her longest ever boyfriend. It feels like she's dumping some new guy she just met. The emotional impact wasn't there for me, but maybe that's because I thought the entire breakup story was dumb and forced. Bad romance, Claudia! Bad romance! Seriously, you shouldn't break up with someone because you're friends and you like them. And if there is a problem with your boyfriend, you should try to address the issue instead of dumping him immediately. That complaint goes for the entire Babysitters Club series in general. These girls are very fast to hit the dump boyfriend button. The other storylines of the book aren't so good. The basketball team isn't interesting. It was kind of interesting to see the kids worry the babysitters aren't trustworthy, but I don't think that story was developed enough for it to be effective. There's a half chapter dedicated to it at the Radowski house. The rest of that storyline takes place off-screen with Becca and Charlotte. Overall, I like the main story. I'm glad at least one of the final books of the series is a babysitting story. I didn't like the boyfriend or basketball stuff. I would have replaced those stories with something else. Something more fitting for Claudia's last book of the series, like a story about art or her grandmother. This is one of those books where I think the good parts and the bad parts balance each other out. I checked the internet, and other reviewers disagree with me. They think the boyfriend stuff was great, and Haley acting like a super brat was terrible. So maybe I'm totally wrong about this book. I give Babysitters Club number 128, Claudia and the Little Liar, a 5 out of 10.